Blade and Sorcery is one of the top VR games out there. As implied in the title, the game consists of a clash of blades and even a little sorcery to spice things up. But if you ask me, magic is for cowards. Fire, lightning, and gravity, more like poop, dung, and oopsie in my diaper. I plan to smash, slash, and stab my way to victory in this challenge. Can you beat Blade and Sorcery without sorcery? Before I get to the actual challenge, first, an argument of semantics. What does one define as sorcery? Merriam-Webster defines it as the use of power gained from the assistance or control of evil spirits, especially for divining. I define that definition as bullshit. I will be counting any spells, slow-mo from focus, and non-human skills as sorcery. So for example, I will allow myself to use some abilities from the body crystal cores, but only things that are realistic for a human to do. We'll call it extensive training. In the case of the unrealistic core skills that you have to unlock for the rest, I simply unlock it and refrain from using it as much as possible. You'll see. Modless is in the description, but the largest one you'll see consistently is the Medieval Mega Pack, which adds a ton of high-quality weapons. I plan to kill every enemy the game spawns for me, but with how often the AI gets stuck on something, it's inevitable I'll miss a few. Any other rules I'll mention / make up in the moment. Time to jump into it. I create the Chad of all Chads, John Man Stevens. He is a man of virtue, a man willing to fight for his ideals, a man well trained in the art of combat. Oh yes, he is a great man indeed. Our journey starts off as all great journeys do, with a fade from black, of course. I can't drive for shit, and my boating skills could use a little work too. Thanks to this kind fellow, I now have my first weapon. It's probably seen better days, but it will have to do for now. And do it does. Efficiently. I disrespect this guy, or, well, I guess this guy's corpse. Speaking of which, I crashed into this island, sure, but it was my destination based on a previous letter. So, who are these people, and why are they attacking me? Could it be that I'm the bad guy invading their home? Nah, I don't think so. Oh look, a big ancient door. As if game, clearly just some set dressing. Not a chance this does anything. Moving on. What a cozy little home, at the low price of 3 cold-blooded murders. I'd take that deal, which should be obvious because I just did. Not much to do here at the moment, beyond storing an apple and a torch in my inventory. I sail on over to the Baron's bounty to say hello, and goodbye because he had no weapons worth buying. I then sail to the first of many, many dungeons to come. The first 3 gave me little trouble with a scratch here and there. I'm just warming up for now. I get a great stealth kill before this fellow challenges me to a 1v1 hammer deathmatch. I accept. And some dishonorable bastard comes in to make it a 2v1. I deal with him as you typically would a soil sport and go back to my opponent. What is this disgusting sorcery? Die and go to hell where I will meet and kill you again. Lucky for me, there's an underwater section next to clean myself off. Oh, what's this? Looks like shit. Literally. And it is shit. Literally. I wonder if I can... Moving on. On to the end of the dungeon, in fact. Got some coins, more poo, some crystal, and of course, some bars of metal! My favorite! Next up is a dungeon guaranteed to give a map fragment as a reward. This is how you actually progress to the end of the game, which also means this is 90% of what I'm doing in this challenge. I find that running dungeons gives me enough money on its own, so I rarely do survivals unless I'm desperate to switch things up. These 2 fools try surrendering to me. Guess what, ladies? There's no Geneva Convention in this world. Say goodnight. I steal some items that are likely offerings to some god. Bunch of hoobavaloo if you ask me. The gods, not the items. Was a damn good apple, actually. And now I must pay the price. Or I can just kill everyone and leave. Another valid option. So what's the deal with man's blatant bigotry against sorcery users? Notice how it's now his bigotry and not mine. Well, that's a complicated story, spanning back years in his life. As you probably could have guessed, his parents were killed by sorcerers at a very young age. Because I'm a bad writer, and that's the first thing I thought of. That can wait for now, because something important is about to come up. Man is no man at all. He is a dirty, filthy sorcerer. And still a man, he's not anything else. Just a man who can use sorcery, but won't. And is named Man. Some call me Green Arrow. Some call me the greatest bowman to ever live. Some call me an archophile. I say nay to all three. I'm just a man who knows practice makes perfect. Another sorcerer tried her puny magic on me and got what she deserved. I then spent a few minutes just on a rampage in this library. Foe after foe, and yet man still stands. Incredible. Time to visit the Baron's bounty to sell all my treasure. Only $98. Well, I have gotten a decent amount from the bags of gold at least, almost 1,000. Also, the Baron refuses to buy my lump of shit for some reason. And here I was, thinking I was dealing with a reasonable businessman, but I stand corrected. This sledgehammer catches my attention. It's got great length, massive girth, and a well-polished tip as a cherry on top. And at such a low price! I would be a fool not to buy it. But first, I head over to take a look at the armor selection, or lack thereof. I know I'm early in the game, but half of these shelves are just empty. It's not like the Baron has anything better to do. And when I do find something I want to equip, naturally, I head over to the mirror to try it on, and discover something horrifying. My God. The sorcerers must have interfered with this mirror, meaning I can't equip any armor. The bastards! The chances this is one of my many mods conflicting is practically zero. I believe instead that the insanely advanced AI in this game used their sorcery nonsense to break my damn game. Well, I'll have you know, I paid money for this! You never fuck with the money. Don't you get it? Now? This is personal. Well, my blind rage can have its uses. It brought me right to the boss, and I can't remember a thing. Should I be concerned about that? I'm definitely not concerned about that. But maybe I should have been. The sheer power of the strike that killed him had enough force behind it that man's body kept getting thrown around minutes after. What a convenient view of an alternate reality where man charges in and gets himself killed. Our man would never commit such a mistake, of course. He is a master of the blade, using the quickest and most accurate of cuts to sever his opponent's limbs.
Death to the unenlightened! Ow! Why would you do that?
How many men would it take to bring him down? A question asked throughout the centuries, pondered by philosophers and scientists alike, and yet, no answer to show for it. It would take an otherworldly force to bring him down for good, and I don't see any of those nearby. Just ants waiting to be crushed.
Help me! Help me!
Which is probably what this boss is currently thinking about me. Time to prove him wrong. If I pulled the alternate timeline card again, would you click off? I better play it safe and just take the L. Next attempt. I go on a bit of a dagger rampage here, just stabbing and stabbing everyone in sight. Insert British joke here, you get the idea. This guy really was not prepared for me. I'd imagine this is how fights would go in the Arkham games if Batman had some balls. If Batman decided to kill. As they say in Gotham City, England, third time's a charm, isn't it, bruv? This time I start the fight with one of these crystals that stun the Golem and open up more weak points for attack. My life flashes before my eyes. I get an opening to hit another weak point, so then my life can flash before my eyes again. I switch up my approach, climbing out of the Golem's reach to smash another shield crystal and attack from above. For the third one, I switch it up yet again and take the ranged approach. This was a mighty foe, yes. But look at it now. Literally on its knees, waiting. Waiting for a man to finish the job. So with this crystal that seemed to be powering the Golem, I can turn it into one of the 5 cores for the skill tree. Fire, lightning, and gravity, more like shit, cum, and asshole juice. Yeah, we ain't at the beginning of the video no more. Nothing holding me back now. Speaking of the video, I'm clearly not taking any of the spells, and Focus giving you literal slow-mo at will seems a little far-fetched to be non-magic to me. Therefore, I will only, and I mean only, get body crystal cores during this run. If you are angry that I'm using crystal cores at all in a no sorcery run, just wait. You will be satisfied with another run I have planned. I teleport back home, as you do, and this bullshit ancient door does nothing because it is nothing and does nothing. So, the first tier of the body tree is this dive strike that launches you forward with certain weapons when you stab downwards. It is clearly some sort of magic, but it is also required to purchase any other skills in the tree. Because of this restriction, I purchase it and try my best not to use it in-game. Naturally, during combat, you may find yourself in the air stabbing downwards at enemies, without necessarily thinking about this skill. Here and there, you may catch the skill throwing me a bit, but rest assured, I purposefully hold back my stabs to the last moment or just use a different move when I jump at someone. This Skulker skill makes no sense to me. You can already grab weapons off unalerted enemies in vanilla, so does it just make your footsteps quieter? Ranged expertise makes arrows and thrown weapons hit with more force, and arrows specifically can fully pierce enemies. Discombobulate may seem magical at first, but then you realize severe concussions are a very real thing, and they aren't that hard to get when trying to kill someone with a blunt object. At the very least, you can say these guys get winded for a few moments from a good smack to the head. You go take a sledgehammer to the face and tell me how you feel. In fact, you should feel bad for all these NPCs suffering for your entertainment. And most of all, mine! Onwards to adventure! I honestly don't know what these gravity-infused weapons are meant to do that actually helps the AI. At the very worst, it's a small inconvenience for a few moments. Wow, I may just be going to hell.
Enough of your profanity.
That was a fun dungeon. So much fun that I may just do another one. Yeah, I'm talking as if I have a choice here. Is that someone using lightning magic in my neighborhood? BAM! They'll all get what's coming. Looks like we got an 80s movie slasher in our hands. Oh wait, no, that was just me. Does taking 10 seconds to line up and missing once make a beheading not cool? You tell me. A real warrior can turn any object around him into a lethal weapon, including, but not limited to, lethal weapons. This girl accidentally dodged my follow-up swing, saving her life and giving me a chance to aim better. Apparently, she's the only enemy here and the typical waves won't start since there's no one here to see me. Guess that's an easy dungeon run. Next.
Hello, mate.
You've got to be kidding.
Pathetic sorcerer, I shan't even look as I take your life. As they say in Dallas, on to the dungeon boss. For legal reasons, I have to inform you that this phrase is not, in fact, said in Dallas. This was just a good fight, both sides giving their all, but only one can come out on top. Which was me, not sure what you were expecting otherwise. Back at home, I can get the next tier of body skills, which starts with a power that defies death itself. Again, core skill, you get the idea. I did grab Wrestler, which allows me to throw around people more easily. Just a strength buff at the end of the day, no magic to be found. Probably could achieve the same with some bull shark testosterone or something similar. I'll tell you what, this next dungeon was pretty boring, so I will cut it down to the first and last kill. You're welcome. And it's during this last kill that something interesting happens. Did you catch it? Right before he rearranges his weapons, man stops for just a moment and looks down at his latest victim. What is going through his head in this moment? Guilt, satisfaction, reflection. We may never know, but the pause in itself says enough. Another day, another death. Make that 3. This guy makes me lose my favorite knife. Now how am I gonna stab my enemies to death? With a sword?
I love a good fight! Can't escape me!
These sorcerers are really getting on my nerves with all this ridiculous bullshit. I mean, glitching a game to your advantage? What a low, scummy thing to do. I would never. Alright, I can't lie. I would, and do, very often. In fact, you should feel insulted that I made you sit through that joke. Ha! Look at this sorcery-friendly fire. What a joke of a weapon. Ouch, oh, damn.
Let's see how they handle my blade. Get the hell out of here, you lunatic.
Call me a lunatic? Well then. You know, maybe she had a point there. Whoa, I may be a sorcerer yet with stuff like this happening. I mean, what kind of non-magical man do you know who can block an arrow with a sword? The man, of course. There comes a time in every man's life where he feels tired of the daily grind and just wants something different. Now is my time. I decide to go do a survival challenge in some ruins. Oh, 1 second, I'm getting a call. I gotta take this. Yeah? Yeah. 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 Alright, that was the accountant. He said if I want to keep my house, but more importantly my gaming PC, then I have to make more money by appealing to the youth. So, Gen Zoomers, this one's for you. I cure this lady's brain rot by mogging her head right off. This Rizzler tries to own me, but commits Ohio phantom tax fraud instead. What the Sigma? Big oof. I low-key glazed on this girly with a no-drip aura. No cap. Skibbity. This yapper got cooked. Who does bro think he is? Alright, my accountant just texted me, and it's a ChatGPT prompt with a list of slang. Nice. Bet, cap / no cap, drip, slay, womp womp, get, bro fell off, gooning, yeet, ya yeet, ick, bro moment. Alright, enough of the how do you do fellow kids act. I'm a man, goddammit, and I don't want to talk like some snot-nosed kid. Shout out to all the snot-nosed kids watching. I haven't mentioned these magic doors in the Dalgarian ruins yet. Most players would use telekinesis, but it is entirely optional. As long as that ball gets moved to the side, it'll open. I kinda feel bad about this next one. Imagine as you are dying, you use the last bit of strength you have to say,
Shit, that fucking hurt!
alright, enough messing around. Time for the slaughter.
A few moments later. Well, all that death led to man getting more powerful, so in the end, it was worth it. I'm sure their families would agree. With the max level body core, I have the strength to tear enemies' limbs off if I use both hands. I also learned the ability to choke someone, and intimidation, which can stun lock enemies that witness a brutal killing. Guess where? It's the Baron's bounty. Again. I sell my junk along with a weapon I don't want anymore, and peruse his wares. I settle for a nice throwing knife pouch and some sort of stabby weapon. Blame the shopkeep for not labeling his items. And yes, I know you can look in your inventory to see the name. I'm not stupid, just an idiot. I also pick up some armor that you may remember I can't equip. This sends me into a rage where I smash all of the eggs for sale. Come now, we have many deaths to watch and laugh at. I gotta say, I'm loving this knife pouch. What a great purchase. I can't help it if some pathetic sorcerer infuses my weapon with their filth. It really does ruin the look of my blade. Surprisingly, it does still work, despite their magic. If anything, it's less powerful, but lucky for me, and man, it is only temporary. I'm sure there is a hilarious joke one could write about beating a man to death with his friend's severed head. I will not be that man, because the act in itself is already fucking hilarious. You might have missed it, but I just jumped into this room, unsheathed my sword, and sliced this guy's hand clean off in a matter of 3 seconds. Did I say I? I meant man, of course. He's definitely not holding a dagger to my throat as I say this. Moving on. You should always find time to keep your calories up after a brutal killing. You never want to kill on an empty stomach, trust me. I really hit that guy with the 1-2-3 combo, huh? That was an insane friendly fire. If that guy weren't standing there, the arrow would have been nowhere near hitting me. She clearly had beef with that guy, saw an opportunity, and just took it. As do I for her. The next dungeon starts with a mini dagger rampage. You know, I'm starting to think I'm getting good at this whole murder thing. That probably sounds bad out of context. By watching this video, you have retroactively agreed to not use that out of context. Legally binding. Not sure why these two are standing back not doing anything. Scratch that, I know why. I scare the shit out of them. For good reason. Speaking of shit, I force feed some to this very unfortunate NPC. At least she won't have to live with the taste for much longer. That may have been the cleanest beheading I've done to date. Subscribe and like. This woman uses her dying breath to lie about how she got killed. Just look at man here, completely covered in blood and even some burns. Is it not the most sexy thing you've seen this month? I do a quick survival in the local town market, then proceed on to what else but another dungeon.
This will be easy.
I call this one Death by 1,000 Stabs. Original, huh? Another clean beheading. Can we get a counter on screen now? Perfect. I have to pause my recording, and when I come back, my headset is nice and sweaty.
Oh my god, that is not comfortable.
This also seems to screw up the game a bit because this last part of the dungeon is laggy as hell. It feels just as sluggish as Focus. Man doesn't like it. It may be laggy, but it has some good kills, and especially the last one. Wait a second. No, man. Don't jump. It was just lag. Not magic, just lag. Did I have you fooled? You think a simple jump from a cliff into the ocean would end man? Haven't you been watching? It would take an otherworldly force to bring him down. Funnily enough, the next Dalgarian dungeon starts with another plummet into the ocean. This time, I almost drowned. I don't know what just happened. I just know the sorcerer is dead. The dungeon was short and the boss fight intense, with yet another body crystal core to my name. I have all the skills I'm allowed to get at this point. Did I mention I got rid of Discombobulate earlier? Mighty Kick does what you'd expect, and Juggernaut lets you build up a momentum and slam into enemies with incredible force, which comes in handy for the first enemy I see. Woo! Hit that one out of the park! I force feed this lady some shit I found. Don't worry, she was a sorcerer. Before something hilarious happens. This girl stun-locked herself from the shock of committing friendly fire. This is the merciful thing to do. If my Hitman suit-only challenge failed to convince you I'm a stealth master, perhaps this will.
Kind of shit intensive is what you're saying.
Go fuck yourself!
This is how Minecraft would look if it were rated M. Minecraft, M rating, it was just meant to be. Something about the way this man stands facing his imminent death with absolutely no fear sends shivers down my spine. The last area of this dungeon had some entertainingly brutal kills. Is a boat oar a good weapon? No. I'm glad that guy won't be coming back. Imagine if some sorcerer survived my attempt on their life and came back with a vengeance. No, I don't think that'll happen. I accidentally drop a dagger down this stairwell and without hesitation dive in after it. If man can't survive a 2-story drop onto cement, what can he survive? Check out this insane stealth takedown. How could the person standing beside her not hear a thing? There is some great irony to be found in beating someone to death with a health potion. These end dungeon fights are growing in size, and most enemies now have magic-infused weapons. No problem, of course, just simple observation. With this Dalgarian outpost comes the last and strongest faction, the Eye. Who are they? Magic-worshipping scum. And that's all they will ever be. Some have full suits of armor, which are extremely hard to penetrate with a bladed weapon. The rest almost always have infused weapons with varied effects. Lightning arrows become heat-seeking, fire arrows spread flames, it's all smoke, with no mirrors in sight. They're broken, remember?
It'll all be over soon.
You've got to be kidding. Stay put, you dig.
I have failed.
And all that was just the first room. I could have dashed straight to the exit from the start, of course, but what's the fun in that? I'll be honest, I was riding high on this one and thought myself untouchable. That overconfidence led to this very simple, yet disastrous mistake.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
I thought at worst I would have to swim for a bit back to the surface. I was wrong.
Everyone be careful.
Sometimes you can hit the armor just right to cause a lot of damage and even cut off limbs. You know, maybe sorcery can be useful. It sure is killing quite a few enemies for me without my input. I'm joking, of course. It is the root of all things evil. For the first time in this playthrough, believe it or not, I pick up a shield to use. Ladies and gentlemen, witness the worst attack in the history of attacks. Did you see that? Man just took a full swing to the back of the head from this golem. Back in the beginning, a strike like that could, and did, kill him. Look how powerful man has become. Would you believe me if I told you I acquired another body crystal core? On one hand, you should, since I've been doing it all game and have no reason to do otherwise. On the other hand, you shouldn't, since I am a compulsive liar. Or was that a lie? I travel back home and these no good, low-life home-wrecking idiots! Savages! Idiots! Idiots!
Jesus Christ, dude. Calm down.
Invading my home and trying to kill me? Every moment of intense, mind-numbing pain is but a fraction of what these animals deserve. Animals? No. Animals get mercy killed all the time. These savage creatures deserve no mercy, no thought, no hint of pity.
They only deserve death, the more painful the better to match their depravity. Every swing of my blade, a moral action of boundless measure. My fists are an unstoppable force to match, nay, exceed their magic nonsense. They have no idea who they're messing with.
Killing all those enemies at my own home gave me an idea. What if the mirror at my house works fine? Could I then equip armor? Turns out the answer is yes. I don't know why the mirror works here but is broken in the Baron's Bounty, but I can work with this. So I head to the Baron's Bounty and pick up a set of armor. Then travel back home where I can try it all on. It is back at home that I discover an even easier way to equip armor, straight from the inventory book. I want some funds for a bit more armor, so I head to the arena to take on the Eye directly. This is it, the final stretch. Once I defeat the next golem, that's it. I don't know what is behind that door, but I do know it's gonna change everything. Man is basically at the height of his power. These dungeons are nothing more than brutal kill compilations now. I visit the Baron's Bounty for the final time to stock up on anything else I may need. This is it. Man at the height of his power. Except for the helmet, man wants to look an enemy right in the eyes as he takes their life. He has no need for a frivolous helmet. The last Dalgarian outpost of the run. Oh, it's gonna be fun. Time to try out my brand new axe. I love it.
Nicely done!
Aw, thanks for the compliment, man. I do try my best. The most powerful faction, nothing. The strongest golem, dust in the wind. Man is unstoppable. Let's finish this game. Oh no, an otherworldly force! Well, man unintentionally sacrificed himself for the greater good, leaving a very confusing tone for this video. On one hand, he saved how many lives from this cosmic threat? On the other hand, he was a bloodthirsty racist who never would have touched that sword had he known what would happen next. The only thought going through his head when grabbing that sword was the next head it would remove. Should he be seen as a monster for his actions or a savior for his last action? Does his intention even matter when so many lives were saved? Should a childhood trauma excuse a lifetime of hatred? All complex questions I have brought up through the narrative, which makes me seem smart, until you realize I actually provide no insightful commentary or answers. Just ask them, cross my arms, lean back, and go, yeah, that was me. I wrote that script. What a smug asshole, huh? In the end, this was a pretty standard run of Blade and Sorcery. I've been playing the game long before 1.0 release, so I've had plenty of non-magic fighting experience. Apart from the Dalgarian outposts and golems within them, most new stuff in 1.0 had to do with magic. During my next Blade and Sorcery challenge, I plan to reverse this video and do magic only with no weapons, so stay tuned for that. At the end of the day, what can be said about man? Well, he was a killer. He was flawed. Had his principles, his beliefs, his weapons. He was a misguided individual. He was a bigot. He was a man.